Hi, this is Sean. Welcome to my channel. I am the Divine Feminine Abolitionist and we are free. Well, I don't know what happened, but the original video that I did for part 1 of the Judgment card, I'm using the Hoodoo Tarot, and that video got deleted. So moving forward, I want to read the scripture that they have on here. And that she has on here, John 7:2-4. Do not judge by appearances, but judge with right judgment. And in my original video, I was talking about how when I pulled these cards, judgment and justice, sorry, I'm outside if you saw that fly by, judgment and justice, there was these energies that came to me, Medgar Evers and Breonna Taylor. And what was intriguing to me is that they were the same types they left the planet in the same types of ways in different timelines, but the energies by which they left the planet were exactly the same. This ideology that people who were operating from ego consciousness was choosing to dishonor life and abuse authority and just have no regard for human life and committed murder because they could. And this ideology, I feel like the place that we are in terms of spiritual warfare is the reckoning of that, is the reckoning of ego consciousness abusing its authority, abusing its power. Because I've shared before that judgment is the feminine divinity of the equation of justice and judgment. And so in saying that, it's like the Divine Mother wants to heal this ego consciousness that is permeating across the globe, and it has to start with us, because we can blame our government, we can blame our society, but we are the society, the people are the society. And we have all these different religions operating in the world, and if we were really operating from our faith systems, would our world be in the current? I just honestly believe that people don't even really believe that divine exists, because there's no way that you can believe in God and do some of the things that you do to humankind. There's no way, because you would know that there's a consequence for behavior. I share a lot on this channel about some of the energies. They don't want me to talk. They attacked my throat. Some of the energies that attacked my energy system, they come from the same ego consciousness. They use tech as a way to try to silence my voice, to advocate for myself, to advocate for people in my community who don't have a voice, to call out injustices in behavior, injustices, and this ideology that just because they can do a thing, they do a thing, and just because they haven't gotten caught getting away with it. Like, for instance, there's a thing called Bluetooth bugging. So somebody has to be kind of close to you to attack your phone, and what they do is they attack your assistant through Google. They attack your direct share, Bluetooth, and what they do is they listen to your conversations, or they attach things to your phone. It's another way of energy tampering. It's another way of trying to control people. And it's illegal, for one thing. However, because tech laws are so new, and because most law enforcement agencies, some of these techniques are used by law enforcements to try to track people that are, persons of interest, or, criminals or things like that. And if they don't have warrants for it, of course, it's illegal to listen in on anybody, because people will have a reasonable expectation of privacy on their own cell phones in their own homes. So you would know, then you would have to know if a person has to be within 100 feet of you to Bluetooth tag you, then they need to be your neighbor, right? So I feel like we're so far from love your neighbor as yourself, which is the number one commandment that was given by Yeshua, because we do so much to our neighbor to cause harm, to interfere with our neighbor's free will. And we've seen that play out so vividly I live in the U.S., so it's played out so vividly. But as I said, so if judgment is divine feminine enacted in its right power, doing the right thing, then I don't use my power to abuse people. I don't use my power to interfere with someone's lives. And we saw what happened with George Floyd in this ego consciousness that said, I can kill this man on national television. I can be recorded. I can have witnesses. But because I'm protected by the blue wall of blanket immunity, nothing's going to happen to me. I can do it in a smug way. I can do it in complete disregard of the vows that I have taken to protect and serve. I can do it in excess. I can do it with the spirit of arrogance and haughtiness. And nobody better not call me to account. Nobody better not tell me that I'm wrong. And this ideology of judgment, like you hear people say, only God can judge me. Well, if you live in a society, we have laws in effect that if I see you doing wrong, I have a right to call you out on it. I have a right to enact justice, because that's what we're here for checks and balances, and to make sure we're keeping the scales balanced for ourselves and for each other. But ego consciousness does not want to be held accountable. That's what I know most about. Any time that I was acting out of ego consciousness, I would always get signs from spirit saying, this is wrong, what you're doing is wrong, what you're doing, and given so many opportunities to turn away from it. But because I thought I knew better than spirit, because I knew better, I was so slick, I could get by, I could do whatever I wanted to do, treat people whatever way I wanted to treat them, and have no consequence. What I ended up having is dire consequences for my choices that, had I listened to spirit, I would have gotten a lot of grace. And I'm not saying that I didn't get a lot of grace, because even in what I consider very dire consequences for some of my choices, yet there was grace. And so I want to read this passage in the book that I'm reading, The Source of Self-Regard by Toni Morrison. She's really this was her eulogy to a human being who, if I had a chance to talk to anybody alive or passed away, it would be James Baldwin, because he just resonates deeply with me. I call him Papa, and I speak to him in the other world, and he's just one of my spirit guides. He wrote these words. They say, a person does not lightly elect to oppose his society. One would much rather be at home among one's compatriots than to be mocked and detested by them. And there's a level on which the mockery of the people, even their hatred, is moving, because it is so blind. It is terrible to watch people cling to their captivity and insist on their own destruction. I would say it's terrible to watch people cling to their depravity, because I feel like we really have become a depraved nation. A lot of times I feel like we're living in Sodom and Gomorrah, and that has nothing to do with any kind of sexual overtones. It's just this attitude of ego consciousness that prevails in every part of society. And yeah, that's really what I wanted to talk about. And when dim bones, I discuss it in the video that got deleted, but the ideology of reading bones is a practice of African American and Native American people from the US, of being able to read bones and be able to tell people beyond the veil of things that may have been hidden. And you have to choose ways and methods of ideology that is beyond what the veil is. So I just wanted to bring that out and point that out, and just encourage you to think about those things as you go about, or draw this card into your readings. Peace and blessings.